From the Oklahoma Studios in Oklahoma City, this is a Hudiburg Fantasy Football Update with Mike Baldwin. I'm Jenny Carlson. Mike, people may be still drafting for their fantasy leagues. Those late rounds, people always want to know, who should I take? Some Oklahomans that could be late round picks that could really help your team. Who's at the top of your late round Oklahoman picks?
Well, I mean, one of them is Sam Bradford. He's not one of the top 12 quarterbacks. The NFL's gotten so good in quarterbacks. Back in the day, you'd have to reach for the 11th or 12th quarterback if you were in the 12-team league, which most of them are. But guess what? Sam Bradford's one of those guys, everybody's got a bullet next to his name. He threw 24 touchdowns last year. They've got more weapons around him. A guy named Austin, OU fans might remember a little bit. He's the guy they traded up to go get. They have a second-year receiver named Givens who's really good that could emerge this year. They went and got Jared Cook, the Tennessee's tight end. He's got weapons for the first time in his life. So the Ram fans themselves are excited that this may be a special year. Fantasy owners, it could be too. At worst, get him as your backup. Have him for your bye week, injury insurance, and who knows, he might outperform your starter depending on if your starter ended up being a bust. So.
Yeah, you got some pass catchers too. You talk about a pass thrower, some pass catchers that could be some late round guys.
Justin Blackmon to me is way undervalued in every league in America I've seen so far. And the reason is 4-game suspension. Everybody's acting like it's a torn ACL or something. He's out for the year, he's hurt. How will he come back and rehab? Is he a knucklehead? Yes. Did he make a mistake? Yes. Does he need to grow up? Yes. But once he comes back, it may take him a few weeks to really get going, and he doesn't have the quarterback to really give you monster stats. But guess what? He had a 250-yard game late last season. He started to show signs. He's what you call a stash guy. Get him, stash him on your roster about mid-season when you're like, boy, I wish I had another wide receiver. Here comes Justin Blackmon.
Yeah. Now some other guys too, tight ends and some maybe late round wide receivers that could be up for grabs.
Pettigrew is one of those guys that's a borderline starter. He has a ton of catches every year. There's a lot of weapons in Detroit. Their offense, the Lions are so good with Stafford and those guys. His only problem is in fantasy ball, you got to get in the end zone. He hasn't done that a lot. His fumble issues obviously do not affect fantasy football in most leagues. But if he gets in the end zone more, all of a sudden he's a starting tight end. Gresham, he has been a borderline starter in the past, but they drafted a guy named Eifert, another guy OU defensive fans may remember a little bit out of Notre Dame that they drafted behind Gresham. He's a little more of a risk this year. And then there's 2 wide receivers from OU, Kenny Stills and Ryan Broyles. Broyles had another knee injury, was playing well before that. He looks healthy. Kenny Stills already as a rookie is the number 3 wideout. So does he have to stand in line behind the other guys for Drew Brees? Yes, but he's already shown he might be one of those guys for injury or blossom late in the season worth a flyer.
Hey, we've even got a kicker with Oklahoma connections that you could put on your fantasy team.
Everybody takes a kicker in the last round, and that's the way it should be. I mean, there are not that much difference week in, week out to reach high for a kicker. Even the guy from Minnesota that went 10 for 10 beyond 50 yards. I mean, Walsh was really good, but even you don't reach. But guess what? The guy from Oklahoma, the Oklahoma State kid who went here a high school in Yukon area, missed only 2 all year long, and they were over 50 yards. Dan Bailey is worth having on your fantasy team. If once the final round comes around, do not hesitate at all to take Dan Bailey.
All right, thanks, Mike. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.